So hello, everyone, and welcome. Thanks again so much for giving us your time. Whether you're a long-time Liferay Community Edition user, a partner who's been fielding questions from your clients, or you've just seen some info online and wanted to hear directly from Liferay, you're in the right place. I'm Ben Turner, I'm Liferay's Principal Evangelist, and over the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to walk through everything you need to know about one of the most significant changes to the Liferay platform in years. Let me start with a simple statement. This is good news. We know there's been some noise out there. There's been questions, speculation, concerns about what the end of Community Edition really means. Today, we're going to answer all of that clearly and officially. Here's what we'll cover. So we'll talk about what's actually changed and what that means for your options going forward. Those options include the Liferay DXP free tier. So we'll talk about what that is and how to get it. We'll also talk about when and why you might want to consider an enterprise subscription. And we'll compare the free tier and subscription offerings so that you have a good understanding of the differences. We'll then wrap up with some possible next steps and a quick summary. And then, as I said at the very start, we'll open up for Q&A. So please do use that Q&A option in your Zoom toolbar to ask those questions. And I will do my very best to answer all of them that we have live. Okay, let's get started. What's actually changed? Well, for over 2 decades, Liferay has existed in 2 forms: Liferay Portal Community Edition and Liferay DXP. Liferay Portal Community Edition was free, while Liferay DXP required an enterprise subscription. Liferay CE was licensed under the open source LGPL, while Liferay DXP was licensed under Liferay's own end-user license agreement, or EULA, or optionally, subscribers could elect to use the same open source LGPL license if it fit their needs better. Liferay CE required users to self-support by making changes and compiling from source, while Liferay DXP was supported by Liferay, giving customers the opportunity to raise support tickets, request hotfixes, and get access to patches for issues already fixed. And with Liferay CE, users were unable to work with Liferay partners, while subscribers had access to the whole of Liferay's extensive partner network. For a long time, that model worked, but it also created friction. If you started on CE and your project grew, moving to DXP meant a migration. And migrations take time, they add complexity, and they introduce risks. All of these are things that you really don't want at exactly at the moment that you're trying to accelerate. Starting with the 2026 Q1 release, that friction is gone. There is now one platform, Liferay DXP, a single code base, a single download. Community Edition as a separate product no longer exists. But, and this is really important, Liferay is still open source. The source code continues to be published under the LGPL on GitHub, exactly as before, and you remain free to build from the master branch. And subscribers can still elect to use the LGPL if it's a better fit for their needs than Liferay's EULA. Liferay's commitment to open source is not changing. What is changing is the distribution model. Going forward, all official distributions are Liferay DXP, and access is governed by an activation key. There are 2 types of keys: a free tier key, which is available to anyone at no cost, and an enterprise subscription key, which requires a paid subscription. So the short version is CE is gone, but you now have access to DXP for free, which is a meaningful upgrade. It's a big step forward. Okay, let's now talk practically about options. If you're currently running a project on Liferay CE, you have 4 paths in front of you. I'm going to provide details on all of these and be clear and open about all of them as well. I'll explain the benefits and the limitations so that you can make an informed decision about which is the right path for you. So there are 4 options: an enterprise subscription, the free tier, building from source, or staying on CE. The first option is to move to a Liferay DXP enterprise subscription. This is an annual or multi-year subscription with pricing based primarily on a capacity and deployment model. This is the recommended path for any business-critical project, especially if you have ongoing security requirements, compliance obligations, or need your platform to keep pace with continuous product evolution. What you get with an enterprise subscription includes access to all quarterly releases, so that's all of the dot releases for all of the quarterly releases, plus security patches and access to existing hotfixes created for other customers. You also get official support from Liferay, which means direct access to our support team, including getting new hotfixes for issues that you have identified. You get enterprise-grade security features and legal indemnification. You get the opportunity to purchase additional subscriptions for the full Liferay product catalog, and you have the opportunity to use Liferay's cloud deployment options, whether that's cloud native experience for AWS, Google Cloud platform Kubernetes, our PaaS experience or SaaS experience, and soon cloud native experience for Azure as well. And finally, you have access to the Liferay partner ecosystem and Liferay's customer portal. The Liferay product ecosystem has grown significantly in recent times. An enterprise subscription unlocks a connected suite of content management, campaign management, data platforms, and AI capabilities. These are tools that CE users have never had access to before. Enterprise subscriptions open all of that up. If your project is running in production, serving real users and growing, this is your path. If you're interested in this path, please let us know. You may be eligible to take advantage of our core upgrade platform free of charge. Oh, an aside, both AI Hub and Liferay Data Platform are separate SaaS offerings that are external to Liferay DXP but can be connected to DXP. They are more valuable when used alongside DXP, but they can even be purchased by people who are not using Liferay in any way. And they're both available to be purchased by free tier users and enterprise subscribers alike. So even if you're using the Liferay DXP free tier, but you have need of our AI Hub capabilities or our Liferay Data Platform capabilities, you could buy a subscription for those independently. You wouldn't need to buy an enterprise subscription for DXP. The second option is one that has generated the most excitement, and for good reason. You can now move from CE to Liferay DXP at no cost. The free tier is the official distribution of Liferay DXP, made available without a subscription fee. It's not a stripped down version or a trial. It's the same core platform used by enterprise subscribers. What you get with the free tier is free access to the core capabilities of Liferay DXP. You get access to each quarterly release and the new features that will come as the platform evolves. When your project grows and you need enterprise support, making the switch is as simple as applying a new activation key. There's no migration, no reinstall, no replatforming. Free tier is ideally suited for running proof of concepts, for testing new functionality, and building confidently on the same foundation that you will eventually implement in production. Getting started with the free tier really just does take a couple of minutes. First, go to liferay.com/downloads-community, where you'll find all the download links, and you'll also find these steps. This page will always be updated with the most recently available releases that can be used with the free tier. Download the current quarterly release, or indeed the previous quarterly release, if that's most appropriate for your needs. You'll also find the required Docker pull command if you're going to be running in Docker. And this page will eventually feature the most recent 4 quarterly releases available to free tier users. For now, because we started with 2026 Q1, it's just 2, 2026 Q1 and 2026 Q2. Once you've accessed this page and downloaded the software, pop over to marketplace.liferay.com/products and choose Liferay DXP free tier. Log in or create an account, click on the Get Activation Key link and complete the form. Your activation key will be generated instantly and made available for you to download. Then you simply download it, deploy it to your Liferay DXP installation, and you're away. Keys will expire 12 months after they are issued, but note that this isn't a limited term. You can simply go back to the marketplace and generate a new key at any time you want. Each key is tied to a domain, and it also supports localhost for local development. But note that the key just validates the domain that the server is running on at startup. There's nothing to stop you hosting multiple sites, multiple virtual instances with different domains, with different URLs within a single server environment without the need for additional keys. So I'll say that again. The key is simply used to activate the software on startup. So it validates the domain that the server is running in. Once the server is running, you can host as many sites and virtual instances with their own different domain names without the need for any additional keys. You can generate multiple keys across different projects, and you can run Liferay DXP free tier in a cluster of up to 3 nodes. So you can use clustering as well. Okay, we wanted this to be the definitive session on the free tier, and in doing so cover the upsides and the downsides of the options. To be completely transparent, when using the free tier, there are some limitations that you should know about. Free tier does not include official support from Liferay. It doesn't include SLAs, doesn't include security hotfixes, and it doesn't include legal indemnification. You'll get access to 1 official stable release per quarter, but not every one of the dot releases containing patches. Initially, what we plan to do will be the very first release each quarter, so that we would give access to 2026 Q2.0, for example. But we've decided to be a little bit more pragmatic. If we identify serious bugs in a release, we will continue releasing the next dot release for the free tier until we're happy with the stability. Ultimately, there's no value for us and no value for you if we give you unstable software. So what you'll see is that the downloads page that I mentioned previously, that will constantly be updated with the most current release for each quarterly release that's available to you. So please do check that page on a regular basis. In terms of extending the platform, you can use all of the extension methods that enterprise subscribers can. We strongly recommend extending Liferay DXP using low-code, objects, and client extensions because that really does make upgrades easier. But if you want to, you can build your own OSGI modules to extend as well. What is important to note is that you cannot extend the free tier by modifying the source code. That's something that's not permitted under the EULA that is accepted when you generate a key for the free tier. Okay, Liferay partners. There's been various things that have been said about whether partners can have their customers using the free tier, so we just wanted to use this opportunity to clarify things. The short form of the clarification is that partners should not be working with customers who are using the free tier. But we do want to hear from you if you do have a situation, if you do feel that there's no other option. I'll talk about flexibility a little bit more on this slide later on, but we do want to be flexible. We do want to provide all of the options that are available so that your customers can be happy and confident with the options, with the path they take. But to cover the details, there are two key documents that come into play if you're a Liferay partner. The first is the EULA, the End User License Agreement. The EULA prohibits distribution. And what that means is that you're not allowed to develop an application on free tier and then give it to a third party, in other words, a customer to use. The second important document is the Liferay Partner Agreement. What's important here is that the partner agreement limits partners to products that can be sold. So these are the products that are listed either in the price list for partners or the path for OEMs. And as you would expect, the free tier is not listed there. It's not listed in the price list or the path as it's not available for resale or distribution. And then finally on this point, the EULA needs to be accepted by the end user of the software. It can't be accepted by a partner on behalf of a customer. Of course, as a partner, you could, if you wanted to, do development work on the free tier. But remember that as a partner, you can also request development keys that will provide you the full feature set of DXP, not just the features provided with the free tier. So there's not really any reason to use the free tier for development purposes. We do understand that there might be situations when customers who have started on the free tier by themselves come to you looking for implementation assistance or support. In that case, there are other options. Firstly, we have some new go-to-market models available. In addition to the OEM model, which we've had for many years, we have a new integrated services partner model too. This enables you to partner with Liferay without having to be a reseller, where your customers do not each need to take out a subscription with Liferay, where the commercial arrangement is between you, the partner, and us, Liferay. And this is brand new. This is so new that we haven't announced this anywhere yet. We have a new lower cost subscription model coming within the next couple of weeks. This new SMB subscription will be available for customers who have revenue of up to 10 million US dollars or euros per year. And it'll also be available for certain non-commercial entities as well. It will offer a substantial discount over the regular subscription with some key differences. This model will not be sold by Liferay. It will be available to be sold by Liferay partners. We're not going to sell it ourselves at all. No support is provided by Liferay. You and the customer will have access to all of the releases for every quarterly release and all of the hot fixes, but neither you nor the customer will have the ability to contact Liferay to get support. If you want, you can sell a support offering of your own, and it will include the full enterprise capabilities, but it can be run on-premise only, so it will not provide access to Liferay's cloud or cloud-native offerings. So really short story here is if you have any doubts at all or any questions at all, please talk to us. Please talk to your local Liferay contact or reach out to us directly. We will have much more flexibility going forward than has previously been the case. We do really want to support our partners working with customers in as many ways as it is viable. We want to provide the best value to our partners. We want to provide the best value and the best options to our customers. So you should consider that the free tier is designed primarily for learning, development, small-scale use, and proof of concept work. And if you did develop a customer solution on the free tier and you ran into a bug, the key thing is that you're going to have to wait for up to 3 months to get a fix for that issue. And that assumes that someone else has already found that bug as well. So for production deployments at client sites, an enterprise subscription will always be the most appropriate path. Okay, if working from a compiled version under Liferay's EULA is simply not an option, the third path is to use the Liferay source code from the public GitHub repo, compile that yourself, and maintain your own build. Of course, this is technically possible and available to you like it always has been. The Liferay source code remains public and open under the LGPL. But this isn't necessarily straightforward. We have some data that we want to share with you so that you understand what this actually means in practice. Firstly, at the core of the LGPL is the requirement that any changes made to any source covered by the LGPL also have to be made available to everyone as open source. So you can't simply make changes and extend the platform and keep them private to yourselves. Those also have to be open source. Next, some stats about the Liferay portal repo. And this is a really busy place. This isn't intended to put you off, but we just want to explain the commitment that you're making if you opt for the build from source approach. In the first quarter of 2026, there are about 1,300 commits to the repo every week, and there are over 200 developers involved. This high level of activity results in a daily average of around 6.6 bug fixes and 16.5 new feature updates being merged into the code base every day. What this means is that managing a custom build from the public repo requires significant effort. We've done some research that indicated that to implement a bug fix, there are about 24 related commits that a team must evaluate to ensure compatibility. These might be infrastructure or maintenance related, or they might be parallel features. And our own internal benchmarks show that teams doing this spend about 60% of their time on stabilization and dependency management. Doing this shifts the focus from delivering business value to maintaining the underlying platform. The bottom line is this: choosing a GitHub-based installation involves a trade-off. You gain direct access to the latest commits, but you opt out of the structured support, verified distributions, and partner ecosystem provided by official channels. For most organizations, the cumulative maintenance effort makes this a specialized path rather than a long-term solution. The fourth option really isn't an option at all. It's essentially to do nothing, to remain on your current CE installation without updates. And this might be seen as a viable approach in the short term. What it does mean is that your platform is moving away from active innovation towards static maintenance. Nothing is going to stop working, but the responsibility for security and stack compatibility shifts entirely to your internal team. You can, of course, upgrade from any older release of CE to GA132, but that's it. There are no CE releases beyond there. You're essentially moving from a supported platform model to a self-managed legacy model. And of course, everything that Liferay depends on, the underlying platform software like the database server, the app server, and so on, they're also aging in this model. And it's likely that later versions of that platform software will not be able to be used with the older versions of Liferay CE. Okay, next I wanted to do a quick high-level comparison of what you don't get with the free tier, but you do with an enterprise subscription. There's a lot of information here. I don't want to spend too much time. I'm not going to go to everything in detail, but there are some really important things to call out that are only available with an enterprise subscription. Firstly, with the free tier, we're not providing access to all of the releases every quarter. We're providing access to one release each quarter that doesn't have any critical bugs in it. Enterprise subscribers get every release for every quarterly release. Next, from a support perspective, with free tier, there's community support and access to product documentation, while subscribers have direct access to raise tickets with Liferay's support team, get hotfixes created for any issues found, plus have access to security fixes and hotfixes created for other subscribers. The enterprise subscription provides legal indemnification and limited warranty and access to Liferay's partner ecosystem. More importantly than that, though, we get numerous security tests run against the code and the platform, like SAST, DAST, pen testing, and SCA scans, and we provide access to the reports generated for those tests to our subscribers. All of these are becoming progressively more critical as things like cybersecurity become not just important, but mandatory. For example, the EU has active legislation for digital operations resilience, DORA, for financial services entities, and cyber resilience, CRA, for digital products, which is hard, if not impossible, and definitely expensive for organizations to address themselves. And then finally, subscribers gain access to additional enterprise capabilities within the platform and the option to purchase add-on modules and make use of Liferay's PaaS, SaaS, and/or cloud-native deployment options. So the core is the same, but what changes is what surrounds it when your project needs to operate at scale with full assurance. Okay, let's step back for a minute because we want to make sure it's really clear why this is such a significant change. For over 20 years, the CE to DXP boundary was a real barrier. If you built something on CE and your business grew, upgrading meant a migration project. That took time, cost money, and introduced risk. A lot of organizations stayed on CE longer than was ideal simply because the cost of moving was perceived to be too high. That barrier is now gone. If you move to the free tier today, you are on the same foundation as a Liferay Enterprise customer. When your needs grow, when you need security patches, professional support, or advanced capabilities, or if you want to work with a Liferay partner, you just apply a new activation key. Your environment stays exactly as it is. Your data, your customizations, your integrations are all unchanged. You just gain capabilities. There's no more architectural surprises. There's no expensive replatforming decision down the road. The platform you start on is the platform you scale on. Okay, just before we wrap up, I did want to talk about some opportunities that are available for current CE users. So for CE users who are ready to move to a full enterprise subscription, Liferay has 2 active promotions to make that transition even easier. Firstly, subscription discounts are available for organizations that commit to a 3-year contract. And then secondly, Liferay is offering migration assistance through our core upgrade program. This is a completely free program that provides you with direct help from a team of Liferay experts to support the technical migration of your core to the latest enterprise version. If either of these are relevant to you or your clients, please reach out to your Liferay account representative, your partner contact, or reach out to us via email or through discuss.liferay.com. We do want to hear from you. We do want to help you move forward. And for anyone who's not ready for enterprise yet, the free tier is available now. As we said, go to liferay.com/downloads-community. You'll be able to see the versions that are currently available for use with the free tier. You'll be able to get a link to click through and get your activation key and start building on DXP. Okay, let me quickly recap what I've covered today. Liferay Community Edition has reached the end of its life. Starting with the 2026 Q1 release, Liferay DXP is the single unified platform. Liferay remains open source under the LGPL. That is not changing. From CE, you have 4 options. You can move to Liferay DXP with an enterprise subscription, which is the recommended approach for business, critical, and production projects. You can move to the Liferay DXP free tier, the right choice for development, proof of concept, and smaller scale projects. You can self-compile from GitHub, which is technically possible, but carries significant hidden cost and risk. Or you can stay on your current CE version, which is a short-term option only with no future updates. Remember that moving to enterprise is not a migration, it's simply a key swap. You can start on the free tier today and upgrade when the time is right, with 0 migration or re-implementation efforts required. The resources you need are at liferay.com/downloads-community, and the community conversation is happening at discuss.liferay.com in the Liferay DXP free tier category. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. That brings us to the end of the slides. So thank you so much for your time.